when you're starting your detailing business, when you're growing it at any point in time, you never want to assume that the customer knows what you're talking about, or that you two know are in agreement of whatever it is you guys talked about. So whether it be with how long the car is going to take you to complete, if you're going to need either power or water, whether you accept cash or card or either one, whether it be that, it's going to cost X amount, whether it's the expectations you're going to set, whether it's the process, if the customer's worried about that. You never want to just assume that the other person knows what you're talking about. So, you know, you want to keep away from technical terms or, industry jargon words, because obviously you as the detailer knows what it means, but not necessarily the customer. So if you're saying, and this could be real basic terminology that detailers use, but because we're so accustomed to using it, it kind of just passes through our head that the other person on the other end doesn't know what we're referring to. And when it comes time to perform the detail, to show them the after, to explain how much it's going to cost, whatever it may be, they may say, I wasn't expecting this, I didn't know what you're talking about, I don't know, this was what's going to happen, and then it's going to fall on you. It's never the customer's problem. You can have some arrogant, ignorant, not happy, oblivious customers. That's always a thing, but you always want to take responsibility of miscommunication, because most of the time it's you not clarifying exactly what's going to take place. And it's frustrating at times because you're trying to explain the best you can and the customer is just not getting it, but it's still going to fall on you. So you never want to assume that the customer knows. You want to take them step by step in the most basic form of communication on what's going to happen or what's going to take place, or keep on restating what's going to happen. So if it is about booking an appointment, I always say, after our conversation at the end, I say, okay, so I will see you on Saturday at 9 a.m. for a interior cleaning and a headlight restoration on your 2015 Range Rover for $280, and it's gonna take me take me 4 to 5 hours, and I'll need your water and power, and I'll work in your driveway. Just restate everything, and if you go over any other details, such as some scratches, such as making sure you clean something in the interior, cover that, restating everything again, so there's no confusion. So you guys are both in agreement of what's going to take place. And this is especially true on the time it's going to take you, because they're going to think, okay, it's going to be in and out in 2-3 hours, but you realistically need 3 to 5 hours to complete the detail. So state that, hey, like, I'm gonna get there at 9 and I'll work from 9 to 1, 9 to 5. Is that enough time? Is that okay with you? Are you gonna need your car any sooner? Hey, maybe I'll need it. I may need it around 3. So it's like, okay, I'll come from 8 to 3, or you'll try to push the time and go from 9 to 3. But again, you want to have that clarified, so when you actually get there, there's no, oh, I need it now, and then you start rushing, and then if the quality doesn't come out as well, you're gonna blame it on that, and then you're gonna have to come back to fix that problem, or the customer is gonna leave you a bad review, which you never ever want. So again, you really want to always communicate and always clarify what's going to happen, and never assume that the customer knows what's going to take place. Like I mentioned, when it comes to technical terms, when you're using words like paint correction, buffing, polishing, all these are very basic terms to detailers, but you need to break it down to the customer to let them know what it is and what you're referring to. When you're talking about the clear coat, when you're talking about the leather coating, when you're talking about the difference between leathers and different cars, whether you're talking about what cleaner you're using, because we may say all-purpose cleaner, we may say degreaser, we may say solution, we may say chemicals as detailers, but the customer is saying, man, this sounds like it's something hazardous or dangerous, or my health could be at harm if they don't properly control it. You have to break it down so simple, because again, they see us using machines, and this is a big time machinery. This is a highly trained professional that only they can use the machines. But when in reality, it's very simple. Everything is very safe. Nothing's gonna happen to their paint. Nothing's gonna happen to the interior. They're not gonna get any type of health problems because they inhale some chemicals afterward and cleaning. You have to explain everything to them because they don't know anything. Again, this is basic information for us. We do it all the time. We've been doing it for years. So for us, it's basic terminology, it's basic knowledge, but to them it's brand new. They've they've probably never dealt with any of this. They just want to hire someone to do the work. They're in their head they're assuming so many things about what's gonna happen because they've never actually had a detailer come out. They've never read anything on detailing. So their assumptions, their knowledge is very vague and very just random because they have nothing to go off of. So make sure you take them through every step and say, hey, look, this is gonna happen, and then this, and then C, and then D, and then E, and then F, and then keep on going through, but through every step of the detail. When you pick up the phone, when you meet them in person, when you're about to start the detail, during the detail, after the detail, when they're accepting payments, after the detail, you need to walk them step by step and explain everything so there is no gap between what did he mean, what was he gonna do, did he not mean that he's gonna do this, didn't he say he's gonna do that. You want to leave no gap in between you, the detail, and the customer, so the expectations, the experience is absolutely great for them. Because again, if they assume something that you didn't tell them beforehand, that will start to alter their experience with you and say, okay, I don't think he's promising, he's not fulfilling what he promised. He didn't come here to do what I wanted him to do, whatever it may be. So again, just the main gist of it is, do not assume the customer knows what you're talking about. Make sure they know exactly what it is you're trying to communicate to them, because it could just lead to problems if you don't.